Hello, lone wolves. In today's society, there exists a subtle but persistent fear of the lone wolf, the individual who dares to walk a path of independence rather than conformity. Culture often promotes the idea that isolation signals weakness, that solitude equates to loneliness, and that strength is only found in numbers or in adhering to the structures laid out by the collective. Yet, if we look through the lens of history, we find that many of the world's most formidable and transformative figures, philosophers, warriors, visionaries, and innovators, were those who first stood alone. Their path was not carved by consensus, but by conviction, often long before the masses could understand or follow. The Sigma male embodies this archetype, not as a brooding misfit or a bitter recluse, but as the apex predator of modern masculinity. He doesn't operate beneath the social hierarchy, nor does he compete for dominance within it. Instead, he steps entirely outside it, governed by his own internal code rather than the shifting standards of social validation. While others scramble for approval or fight for a seat at the alpha's table, the Sigma male is already building his own fortress, defining success, power, and fulfillment on his own terms. This is not about wearing dark clothing, brooding in silence, or copying fictional lone wolves from movies and TV. True Sigma energy has nothing to do with aesthetic posturing or rebellious trends. It is a deep-rooted presence defined by calm self-possession, razor-sharp discernment, and an unshakable ability to remain grounded when others collapse under pressure. A Sigma male does not pretend to be different. He simply is. What sets the true Sigma apart from pretenders is a disciplined commitment to a set of core, non-negotiable principles. These are not rules borrowed from influencers or internet trends, but hard-earned truths forged through introspection, experience, and a relentless pursuit of authenticity. What follows are the 11 foundational principles that form the backbone of the Sigma male psyche. Principles that separate the genuine lone wolves from the boys merely playing dress-up in the forest. Law 1. Rejection is your forge. For most men, rejection is viewed as a final judgment, a soul-crushing sign of inadequacy that they carry like emotional baggage. They allow each no to chip away at their self-esteem until their confidence is riddled with holes, fragile and leaking strength. But for the Sigma male, rejection is not a wound, it's a whetstone. It's seen as a form of raw data, valuable combat intelligence that, when analyzed properly, sharpens his strategy and strengthens his resolve. Every rejection offers insight. If his approach was off, he refines it. If he missed something important, he adjusts his perception. If someone rejected him because of their own limitations, he simply moves on, no time wasted on the unworthy. His process is surgical. Within 72 hours of any rejection, he breaks down what happened, extracts lessons, and discards any emotional residue. If the rejection stemmed from a lack of skill, he trains. If it was because his presence was too strong for the environment, he upgrades the environment, not himself. And most critically, he never knocks on the same door twice. He doesn't beg for entry. He finds another way in or scales the walls silently. Law 2. Respect is taken, never given. The average man believes that respect can be earned through compliance, by over-explaining himself, pleasing everyone, or broadcasting status with luxury brands and flashy displays. But this is a losing game. Sigma males understand a fundamental truth. Respect is never handed out like participation trophies. It is claimed through presence, discipline, and power that needs no announcement. A Sigma gains respect not by demanding it, but by embodying it. His composure is impenetrable. His heart rate barely flinches during conflict, and he gives himself a 2-second pause before responding to provocations, allowing him to react with clarity rather than emotion. His communication is precise and minimal, speaking only when it adds value. He avoids uncertain phrases like, "I think," replacing them with confident declarations grounded in evidence. This presence is backed by power, not just intellectual, but physical and strategic. A Sigma trains his body in disciplines like boxing or jiu-jitsu, and his mind in the art of verbal precision. He doesn't raise his voice. He drops facts like daggers. Emotionless, efficient, and effective. Law 3. The scarcity principle. In today's hyperconnected world, most men are overexposed and underappreciated. Constant availability, oversharing on social media, and the desperate need to stay busy dilute their value. When something is always accessible, it's rarely respected. Sigma males, on the other hand, operate under a scarcity model. The rarer the access, the higher the worth. They establish access tiers like a fortress with concentric gates. No one gets 24/7 availability. Professionals like barbers or doctors get scheduled time. Business partners get conditional meetings. Trusted friends receive rare invitations. And energy vampires? Permanently barred. Their implementation is tactical. Automated replies state that responses come within 48 hours, not instantly. Blackout days are blocked in calendars for undisturbed deep work. If a conversation turns petty, they physically leave. Their presence is a privilege, not a given. Law 4, silent strikes. We live in the attention economy, where men are pressured to announce every move, chase likes for half-formed ideas, and perform productivity like actors on stage. The Sigma male rejects this circus entirely. He builds in silence. He strikes without warning. This strategy follows a rhythm. The dark phase, typically the first 6 months, is pure silence. No announcements, no teasers, just disciplined, unseen execution. The first strike occurs around month 7 when a complete and polished result is launched without fanfare. Then comes the echo phase. The product, achievement, or transformation speaks for itself, while the Sigma vanishes once more into the shadows. History honors this strategy. J.D. Salinger created a literary classic while keeping the world at bay, and then vanished from public view. Satoshi Nakamoto launched Bitcoin, changed the financial world, and disappeared without taking credit. That is the essence of Sigma execution. Make your move in silence and let the world echo your impact. Law 5, financial asymmetry. In today's world, most men find themselves locked in a one-dimensional financial trap. They trade hours of their life for money, rely entirely on a single income stream, and are thrown into panic the moment an economic shift threatens their stability. This is the wage-slave dilemma, a system designed to keep men dependent, predictable, and perpetually anxious. Sigma males refuse to be cogs in this fragile machinery. They operate through a more advanced and resilient model, the Sigma wealth matrix. This system begins with liquidity layers, ensuring 6 months' worth of expenses are held in tangible assets like gold or silver, with an additional 3 months in digital forms like stablecoins, enabling flexibility and quick response. Income streams are never singular. A Sigma builds his base with a primary high-skill profession, something rare and valuable, such as neurosurgery or elite consulting. But he doesn't stop there. He adds a secondary, automated business, something like a SaaS company that works while he sleeps. Finally, he invests in tertiary hard assets, rental properties, land, or even intellectual property that continuously generate passive income. Crucially, a Sigma always maintains an exit strategy. This means having a fuck you fund large enough to cover at least 12 months of living expenses abroad, giving him the ability to walk away from any toxic environment or failing system. No permission required. Law 6, the hidden hand. In a world obsessed with self-promotion and overexposure, the man who reveals everything about himself, his skills, his network, his every move, becomes a pawn on someone else's board. Predictability is vulnerability. The Sigma operates under strict OPSEC, operational security, keeping key assets in the shadows. He always retains one elite skill that he never discusses publicly. This could be a language, a technical ability, or a unique form of insight that becomes his unseen ace. When it comes to his network, he never introduces powerful connections to each other unless absolutely necessary. He understands that relationships, when exposed to external influence, can be compromised or used against him. Most importantly, he employs strategic misdirection. While others are broadcasting their next move, the Sigma drops misleading breadcrumbs, mentioning he's considering an MBA while quietly building a startup. This isn't deception for its own sake. It's protection. The fewer people who understand your true trajectory, the harder it is for them to interfere. Law 7, invisible influence. Trying to force people to comply often backfires. Direct control breeds resistance, rebellion, and resentment. The Sigma male understand that true influence is like gravity, unseen but undeniable. He employs the three-part persuasion framework, a subtle psychological model of influence. First comes the seed, a casual comment or idea planted months before it becomes relevant. This sets the mental foundation. Then comes the fertilized stage, where third parties, media, or indirect sources reinforce the idea. Finally, at the harvest stage, the person believed the action was entirely their own idea. For example, if a Sigma wants his team to relocate to Miami, he doesn't command them. In month 1, he might casually mention the tax advantages. By month 3, he shares an article about Miami's booming tech scene. Come month 6, he simply agrees with their proposal to move. His influence is invisible but complete. Law 8, controlled detonation. Modern society trains men to be tame, pacified, and conflict-averse. From a young age, they are taught to suppress aggression, avoid confrontation, and equate passivity with maturity. But the Sigma male rejects this illusion of pacifism. He does not seek conflict, but he is never unprepared for it. The Sigma uses what can be called a threat spectrum, a tiered response system based on a level of provocation. For low-level disrespect, he deploys cold silence and piercing eye contact, powerful signals that require no words. If someone tests his boundaries publicly, he responds with fact-based humiliation, using intelligence, not anger, to dismantle their credibility. And when the situation escalates to a physical threat, he reacts with swift, overwhelming violence. Trained and delivered with surgical precision, preparation is key. A Sigma engages in quarterly force-on-force combat simulations, ensuring his body and instincts are sharp. He also keeps himself legally protected with monthly briefings on self-defense laws, because knowing when and how to act is just as important as the action itself. Law 9, the anti-trigger protocol. In today's emotionally reactive world, most men are easily manipulated. Their responses are governed by external stimuli, an insult, being ghosted, or seeing someone else's curated success on social media. These triggers hijack their emotions, turning them into puppets of the moment. But the Sigma male isn't swayed by such superficial disturbances. He's undergone deep neural rewiring to transform sensitivity into sovereignty. The first tool in his arsenal is exposure therapy. Rather than avoiding what stings, the Sigma leans in, deliberately engaging with emotionally charged stimuli to neutralize their effect. He might listen to old voice notes from an ex without flinching, or read hate comments without a spike in heart rate. Over time, the reaction is erased, and he emerges bulletproof. Next is cognitive reframing, the art of redefining pain as progress. Instead of spiraling after rejection, the Sigma reframes as data. Her walking away saved me 3 years of emotional entropy. Every trigger becomes a lesson. Every sting becomes signal, not suffering. Law 10, the vanishing act. Most men fail to exit situations cleanly because they're still chasing emotional closure. Whether leaving a relationship, a job, or a friend group, their goodbye is often just a cry for validation, revenge, or acknowledgement. The Sigma male has no such need. He doesn't leave with fireworks. He disappears like a ghost. The Sigma extraction checklist is precise. In the pre-exit phase, weeks 1 to 4, he begins quietly withdrawing, cutting emotional investments, reducing presence, and planting red herrings to mislead any potential pursuit. His exit is never telegraphed. On exit day, hour 0, everything is surgical. He leaves no trace, no personal belongings, no breadcrumbs. All location tracking and digital footprints are wiped clean. Then comes the post-exit protocol. From day 1 onward, he adopts complete radio silence. He doesn't explain. He doesn't justify. He allows those left behind to speculate, mythologize, and wonder. The power lies not in the explanation, but in the mystery. Law 11, the self-mastery hierarchy. At the core of Sigma identity lies the relentless pursuit of self-mastery. Unlike men who seek to dominate others, the Sigma seeks to dominate himself. Physically, mentally, and spiritually, his development follows a clear, structured pyramid. At the base layer is the physiological foundation. His body is a weapon, lean, efficient, optimized. He maintains under 7% body fat, tracks his sleep with 90% efficiency, and treats his physical form as a vessel for all higher function. The mid-layer is cognitive. The Sigma devours knowledge, not mindless consumption, but laser-focused learning. He reads for 60 minutes a day without distraction and has mastered 5 languages, giving him access to diverse perspectives and hidden information. At the peak layer lies the existential. He doesn't stumble through life hoping for meaning. He's written it down. His purpose is crystal clear, and each day includes mortality meditation, a reminder that time is finite and legacy is forged through intention. Final commandment: become untraceable. The highest form of Sigma evolution is not being feared, followed, or praised. It is to become untraceable. He moves in ways that can't be copied, shifts identities fluidly, and exists beyond the reach of societal frameworks. He is too disciplined to be manipulated, too self-contained to be controlled, and too unpredictable to be categorized. He is not a wolf. He is not a lion. He is something far more dangerous, a man who cannot be stopped, because he was never part of the herd to begin with. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe and press bell icon.